Dungeons & Dragons is trying to create a new MMORPG, Laura Bailey goes green for Campaign 4, and Ghostfire Gaming finally does Spelljammer right for 5e.
It's finally happening!
Welcome to Tabletop News Tuesday on the Character Sheet, your first look at the week's biggest TTRPG and fantasy news. Before we talk D&D dysfunction and Critical Role Campaign 4, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep videos like this one coming? And then, let's dive into the news. In a recent interview with Game Industry Biz, Wizards of the Coast president John Haidt talked about the future of D&D and its new franchise model, and also dropped some big hints that a D&D MMORPG was in the works, all while also revealing just how insanely dysfunctional the old D&D brand had been in the past few years. This new franchise model would see all projects flow through the new head of D&D, Dan Ayub, instead of having different departments for video games and entertainment and tabletop gaming reviewing their own work. But in doing so, he revealed even more surprising dysfunction at the company in recent years, saying the lack of coordination led to them having almost nothing to tie into the D&D movie when it launched, for example, saying, quote, "We'd love to have had a D&D book or campaign as part and parcel with the movie," and how it took D&D so long to have anything to tie into the huge interest sparked by Stranger Things when it launched almost a decade ago. But perhaps the biggest announcement of all came when Haidt began talking about D&D's aspirations to create a new MMORPG to compete with World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, saying, quote, "I'd love to have that. I think that we'll want to rethink what an MMO is in this day and age. I think the traditional model that Blizzard, well, even before that Ultima Online EverQuest pursued, that could use some updating. So while it seems like the D&D brand could be heading back to the world of MMOs with a few new twists, as Haidt finishes by saying that a new D&D MMO is something that he wants to see happen, so we may finally have an actual successor to the old D&D Online and Neverwinter MMOs sometime in the not-so-distant future.
Patience, my friend.
In Critical Role news, fans on Reddit and social media have been scouring the recent What is Campaign 4 video for clues, and now they are convinced that Laura Bailey will be playing an orc, rogue, or monk for Campaign 4, which also seems to confirm that Brennan was in fact speaking literally when he talked about designing the world of Ahriman with orcs in mind. So why are fans so convinced that an orc, rogue, or monk is Laura Bailey's future? Well, first off, the orc part seems to come down to the fact that Laura was not only wearing a green and brown outfit in many of the shots, but that she has a color-coordinated green and brown set of dice in the video as well. And everyone knows how much care she takes in picking out her dice for the campaign and coordinating them to her character. Combined with Brennan's talk of orcs inspiring his creation of Ahriman, that has them believing that Laura Bailey is going green for Campaign 4. As for the monk or rogue aspect of Laura Bailey's Campaign 4 character, there is a brief moment of the video just before the 11-minute mark where fans claim they can see on Laura's character sheet that the section for weapon proficiency is too long for just martial weapons, simple weapons, which leads them to believe that it must be rogue or monk, who are the only classes that have additional entries in that field for things like finesse weapons. Therefore, Laura must be playing one of those classes. Now, this is all speculation on their part, and to be honest, given how small and blurred some of the shots are, we can't even really confirm any of this. But we know Laura loves to add some color to her characters, so if we've got a blue tiefling and a purple-haired, purple lightning-streaked human in the last two campaigns, a green orc seems like it would be right up her alley. The real question is, which character will this alleged orc set their romantic sights on when Campaign 4 begins?
Switch to targeting computer.
And finally, Spelljammer fans disappointed with the wildly underwhelming release of the beloved setting in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition have a new chance to explore a truly epic Spelljammer-inspired adventure, as Ghostfire Gaming's new Kickstarter, Aethereal Expanse, Dreams of the Drowned God, puts you on the deck of an astral schooner jumping from plane to plane in an epic 5e compatible campaign for levels 1 to 13. Promising to pit the heroes against scheming empires and terrifying cults as they sail from planar rift to planar rift, all in the hopes of stopping the drowned god from returning to wreak havoc. The only official Spelljammer adventure from D&D was the incredibly anemic Light of Xerxes, which kind of totally failed to capture the thrill of sailing across the astral sea that is sort of the point of Spelljammer. So getting a new addition to the Spelljammer-inspired Aethereal Expanse setting from Ghostfire Gaming is a welcome sight for a lot of jaded Spelljammer fans. And if you want to get your hands on this adventure and start sailing across the plains for real, act fast, as their Kickstarter, which is already funded, only has 3 days left. And that's all we have this week for Tabletop News Tuesday. Let us know what your favorite story was down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.